Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You're joining me this morning in my M340i and I'm on my way to Motech Performance, which can only mean one thing for this car. It's getting lowered. So lowering springs and spacers are going to be installed onto this car, and hopefully you'll join me shortly at Motech Performance. So here we are at Motech with my M340i, and the idea being today is we're going to have this car lowered. Now that wheel arch gap is a bit disgusting at the moment, and I think the wheels are just a little bit pinched in. So the idea being is we're going to have the car lowered on some I-back springs and put some spacers on as well. I don't really know the full spec of the spacers. I'm presuming they're going to be 12 and 15 as I've always had on my previous G20 as well, but we'll confirm that shortly. I have had the car washed and I love the oxide grey colour. It just really pops in the sun. So the M340i is now having the work done. It's in the workshop and I'm just going to chill out here in the lounge. This place has changed from the last time I was there. I was probably here about 3 years ago, but yeah, I'll quickly just show you around in the lounge. It's quite nicely decked out, if I'm honest. We've got all of these Motech wheels that they now do, all the different MW wheels. Quite like this one, that on the M340i. So in terms of the springs, this is the spring setup. So that's the rear spring and that's the front one. 25mm drop on the front and 20 on the rear is what I've been told, and these are the spacers, 12 and 15mm, as that's just been confirmed. But again, quite a nice display here with lots of like car parts and accessories, all the different badges. That's the M340i badge. So the springs and spacers have now been fitted. The car looks absolutely stunning. It's sitting really pretty. I'm going to throw in some pan shots for you guys to enjoy. Let me know what you think of this setup. So guys, you're now joining me a few days after I've had the car lowered from Motech. Just to recap, 25mm drop on the front, 20mm on the rear, 12mm spacers on the front and 15 on the rear. It's a typical kind of setup for these kind of cars. I've just come out on, well, I'm going towards the kind of country lanes where I usually do my driving, just to kind of see what this car's kind of like on a daily use, you know, with this kind of new setup. I'm always being quite wary when it comes to you know, lowering a car, because I don't like to ruin like the ride quality. There have been times when I've lowered a car and I've not really enjoyed it, and then I've gone and had it redone properly. The one good thing about Motech is that, you know, they do this like day in day out. So the setup that they provide for like, you know, your cars like mainly BMWs and whatnot, they usually spot on. I think this is probably like my 4th or 5th car that I've had done from Motech. The key thing here is that I didn't want to compromise the ride quality as much. I've been driving this car daily for the last couple of weeks since I've had it lowered, and I can honestly say that the ride quality isn't compromised. Yes, you are going to feel like the bumps a little bit more. The ride is going to be slightly firmer, but it's not crashy, and I think that's the main thing here. The ride is not crashy. The car is fitted with adaptive suspension, so obviously when you're going through like the different modes, the ride kind of firms up. I'm in comfort mode, and in comfort mode I don't really feel any different compared to like the stock springs. The thing with like all modern BMWs is that the stock ride height is quite tall, and you get that horrible kind of like arch gap, and to actually fix that you end up lowering the car. Okay, so I'm going to put the car into its sport mode, put the gearbox into sport as well. We can give it some around this kind of country lane. Now I can feel straight away that the adaptive suspension has like come into play and the ride's just firmed up just a little bit. Of Of course the sound does change a little bit, pumped through the speakers, but it's not overly loud. I mean, the thing is, like, it doesn't like bottom out like in terms of the suspension, so you know, there's no horrible knocks or anything like that. It doesn't crash out. Now of course, if you do hit like a pothole, you are going to feel it somewhat more than what you would like normally, so you just got to be a bit careful. I am running a splitter as well, so I have to be extra careful for that. It does catch, but that is like, you know, the lowered ride height life and splitter life combined, so something's gonna have to give at some point. So yeah, you do have to be just a little bit careful on that front. But I think the car just looks absolutely spot on. It's just like everywhere I now go and I park up, and there's always someone that compliments it because it just looks fantastic, even though I say that myself. What a combination. This is 25mm drop, a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyre and a 12mm spacer. If you just take a moment to appreciate the way this car is now looking, you've got all the gloss black accents going off, splitter, canards, wing mirrors, spoiler, diffuser, and a lowered ride height, which actually now makes the car look a lot better than compared to how this car was stock. There's a nice little bend here. Yeah, it just feels really composed as well, like in the corners. Like the body lean has definitely reduced massively, which is quite a good thing because you have got quite a lot of power in this thing. And I mean, the M340i is not a car that, you know, you could take lightly anyway, even though it's an M-Light car. It just drives better, it just handles better, and the whole kind of package just seems to come together quite well. I am going to compare this to my M4 back to back in terms of, you know, power, performance, ride and all of that. That's a vid that's going to come up at some point. But today I just thought I'd take you for that little drive, give you my first impressions of this lowered M340i on iBacks with the Motech kind of stance per se. A huge shout out to Mike and the team at Motech for getting me in and getting this car looking in the way it is. It's a rocket ship. If you have enjoyed today's content, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. There's more changes coming to this car, which is going to finish it off, and hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.